Alright everyone, and welcome to the finale of Season 2 of Vettel Career. And in the previous race then, it was the Japanese Grand Prix. Didn't really go to plan, finishing out the points in 16th place I believe. But as this is the final race, but now we're just going to look back at the season that we've seen so far. And have a bit of a reminisce then. Of course the season started back in Bahrain. And as you can see, the first 6 races were really dominated by Schumacher and Alonso then. And they sort of emerged very early on as the two main title protagonists. But we also saw the emergence of Sebastian Vettel then, having switched from Toro Rosso to Red Bull. He finished on the podium in 3 of those first 4 races, and then at Monaco he took that pole and the win, a fantastic result from there. In the middle of the season we saw a lot more race winners, that is, Massa, Vettel, Fisichella all getting in there, so did Button as well. And Schumacher's advantage started to slip away towards the end of the season, and with Alonso finally getting another win there. And yeah, we saw Vettel take another couple of wins then later on. But here's the driver standings then, with Fernando Alonso now leading championship by 4 points going into the final race of the season, so he just needs a top 2 finish then to be champion for the second time in his career. Raikkonen then looking pretty good for third at this stage now then, with Vettel 6 points behind him in 4th, but not over yet. And Fisichella and Button still have a good battle going on for 5th there, with Webber, Montoya and Massa still with 8th place to fight over there. Then it's the 2 Toyotas a little bit off, and then Rosberg in 13th, and he was the last point scorer then. We've only seen 13 drivers score points in the season, and yeah, see, Clean saw the best of the rest after that then. There's 4 teams then that have failed to score points then so far this season, but 1 round to go, and will we see any more added on to this list, and will we see any changes then as we head into the Brazilian Grand Prix now then? And Q1 then, Vettel fastest in that session with a 1:12.9. I think he was the only one to actually break the 1:13 barrier in Q1, so yeah, showing a lot of good pace early on then in this qualifying session and just this weekend in general. As we get into Q2 now then, and Vettel then on his first flying lap then, he crosses the line. It's a 13.3, which isn't as quick, but still a very competitive time then. And yeah, that was actually the only time he did in that session, and actually got him 2nd place then, so that's good for him there then. Fisichella only 12 for him then, and Vettel's teammate Clean was 15th then, so a few interesting dropouts there then in that session, and Renault won't be too happy with that one then from Fisichella, if they need up their support in Alonso this weekend. But as we head now into Q3 then, Vettel with a really good chance of taking pole position here this weekend. He takes provisional pole then with his first time then in this session, and he comes around then the final corner on the next lap then, and he's looking like he's going to improve on that time then again this time. And he goes at 1:13.8 then, so these are very competitive times then early on in Q3, so that's encouraging sign from there. And yeah, we skipped quite a bit of time there because he couldn't improve a lot after that, and he actually dropped to 7th as the time started to come down. You see Alonso there with 1:12.7 there, phenomenal lap time really, as Vettel actually sets his best sector 2 time by 6 tenths of a second there, so this could really put him up there because he set a comparative Q1 time, sector 1 time as well, as he crosses the line. And it's 2nd place by 200ths of a second. He just misses out, and how close can he get? He drops it in turn 1 and turn 2, so he won't get another time in, but wow, how close can you get? And he's missed out on that pole position by 200ths of a second then, and yeah, can it get any closer then? Well, Schumacher's 3rd then, so yeah, the 2 title contenders are pretty close to each other on the grid then. And yeah, Vettel will be looking to round out the season on a high then, and we go to the grid now then. Fernando Alonso takes pole then from Vettel, and Schumacher and Raikkonen then on row 2, so the top 4 in the championship all up there in those top 4 positions then. Montoya and Button are on row 3, then it's Ralf Schumacher ahead of Rubens Barrichello. Here we have him first and look at his home race, and Mark Webber 9th, and Felipe Massa then only 10th then for his own race, so not too great there. Rosberg in 11th then, and it looks like Alonso's going to have it all to do on his own then really, and so does Schumacher actually, with Fisichella down there in 12th, and Trilli and Villeneuve down in row 7, then it's Clean and Hyde behind them. Speed once again out qualifying Liuzzi and Toro Rosso, with Sato splitting the 2 Midlands then out the back of the grid, and it's Yuji Ide who rounds out the 22-man grid for this final race in Brazil. So here we are then on the grid, and for this final race we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different here now then, as the lights are counting down, and off we go then for the formation lap. And yeah, off we go then, and try and get some heat into these tyres then, and we're actually going to break the 4th wall here then, and go sort of into first person for a second here then, because I do want to talk about what's the future of this series and what's going on. Of course, this is the final race of the season, and yeah, it's going to start with the bad news, and that is that this is actually going to be the last sort of F106 Vettel career race. Well, yeah, it will be the last one, because it just didn't seem to make sense to start another season so close to the release of F1 2015, which is only just over a week away now. So yeah, it doesn't seem to make any sense to be going with another season so close to it. But Vettel career won't be finishing though, because yeah, I thought this is a good time as any to sort of announce what my plans are for F1 2015, and that is that I'm going to be doing sort of like a time skip, and then we'll sort of be resuming the career in 2015, because of course there's not a proper career mode in that game, as we found out. And yeah, that's us like a perfect opportunity really to sort of like bring the series sort of to the newer generation really. And yeah, of course we'll be driving for Ferrari then with Vettel, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that, as yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will be disappointed that it's the end of the F106, but yeah, I do plan to come back to this sometime in the future. I mean, once the hype for F1 2015 has gone down, I'm probably going to come back and probably actually continue this series with Red Bull, but it'll be just a first person career. I'll be doing, like, it won't be like Vettel. I'll probably just change the name to my own, and then yeah, just carry it on with Red Bull. I mean, I'm not planning on going to a too competitive a team for this, because I think it would get a little bit easy after a while. But yeah, the Vettel career will be continued then just on F1 2015, and F106 will be back probably in a few months once sort of the hype for 2015 has gone down. So yeah, that's what's going on then. So yeah, I thought I'd just mention that there then, as this is sort of the last Vettel career race on F106 then, as we're now filling at the grid then. Alonso doing a very quick parade lap for some reason, and we weren't really holding anyone up behind us. So yeah, Alonso just really went to get on with it there then, and that may cost him at the start then if he's been sat there for too long. But we're just filling at the grid now then, and the lights are about to come on now then for this final race of the season. And away they go then in Brazil, and immediately Alonso then from pole goes to cover Vettel then towards turn 1. Vettel's on the outside into the first corner, and yeah, he's been sort of forced out wide a little bit then, but Schumacher's through now then, and Vettel a little bit out of shape in the first couple of corners then. He didn't seem to be too comfortable. So he wasn't in qualifying. We saw at the end of Q3 he was making a bit of a mistake there. It didn't look like he's too comfortable going through his first few corners, and he lost a lot of time there to Alonso and Schumacher then, down towards turn 4, and he's gone a little bit wide again. Raikkonen's going up his inside then, so it's not been the best start for Vettel, but he's maintained third place for now then. He's got to try and catch back up to Alonso and Schumacher now then, as they're going to go off and have an epic duel now for the championship. But of course Schumacher needs Alonso to be down in third place if he's going to take the title today, so he really does need Vettel to sort of get up there and cause a bit of fireworks really then, as there's yellow flags out somewhere, and we seem to have lost, well, it seems to only be about half of the field here chasing us then. There's a big group of cars that have gone off near turn 5 and 6 I think it is, and we'll see what's going on then, as see replay Jensen Button, they're only a couple of places behind us there, and going up the turn 5 I think it is, has an engine failure, and all on the Toyotas going to, in fact both Toyotas have, and then you see Clear and Rosberg in a massive accident there. 9 or 10 cars piling in, and a massive pile up there, and wow, we haven't really seen anything like that at all in this series. And wow, both Super Gurries there, both Midlands, both Toyotas, Vettel's teammates out as well. Just a crazy accident there. We see it on board from Christian Albazen, who is near the back of it all, and just nowhere to go, and a nice recreation of the Spa 98 pile up there. And yeah, wow, a massive accident there. I think about 11 or 12 cars all got involved in that one then. As we skip on to the next lap then, somehow the race has not been red flagged, but Vettel has dropped it in turn 2. You say he didn't look comfortable going through a couple of corners, and there's been a bit of contact with Raikkonen then, and yeah, well, what we don't need is another pile up here then to wipe even more cars out, and so I think there's only about 12 left then, and a few of them are damaged then. As we head up to turn 4, and Raikkonen's through now then. Here's Montoya going to have a look as well then. No, he can't, but Vettel's got a good run though up towards turn 5 there, and somehow all that debris is gone then as we go up the hill, but somehow they didn't clear up all the oil. They cleaned cleared away 10 cars, but not that little puddle of oil there. So yeah, Vettel down to 4th place for now then. Doesn't seem his race pace is as good as qualifying, which makes a change, but he does go at the inside of Raikkonen then, and he's back through into Vico de Basso then, and he's back into a podium place for now then. And can he catch back up to Alonso and Schumacher? Well, at the end of that lap then, Raikkonen's got a very good run once again on him. So they head towards turn 1, and Vettel taking the wider line again, and Raikkonen's through, and Vettel, yeah, he gets it through there cleanly this time, but he's lost the place to Raikkonen, and yeah, he for some reason he just really seems to struggle a lot in those first couple of corners then, but was very quick in this middle part of the lap, in that this left and right hander, not sure what the left hand is called, but I'm pretty sure the right hand is Vico de Pato. But across the line we come then to start lap 4 now of 22, and down towards turn 1 once again then, and well, Vettel into turn 1, he's dropped it once again, so it just seems to be he's losing it on the bumps into turn 1. It is a very bumpy couple of corners then, and Raikkonen and Montoya are both through now then, so yeah, his chance of the win, and also of sort of trying to get back into that battle for third in the championship are starting to fade away here really. See a replay of it then, and yeah, just very weird, just seemed to drop it there, and he's, as we've seen, struggling a lot with that corner then as he forces Massa back so he can get going. And Takuma Sato, and he would actually manage to recover from that first lap incident. Had an engine failure. For some reason we couldn't pick it up properly on the cameras, but yeah, that could be crucial though, because he did stay going for a few laps and he has got himself sort of further up in the leaderboard. So yeah, we'll see what effect that has. And as we skip to lap 8 then, feels like we've both had a chance to get our breath back in this race so far, but Vettel passes Montoya then for 4th place, and there's Kimi Raikkonen ahead of him, as well as a back marker then, who has already dropped to the back thanks to that first corner pile-up, or first lap pile-up. And we skip to, well, we carry on to later on in the lap then, and the BMW's going slow down. That's a slow down Raikkonen, and Vettel just says thank you very much. He's up into 3rd place, and through turn 2 he goes then with Raikkonen right behind him. Oh, and this is just getting ridiculous now then. And in fact, as Montoya went through there, and then Massa clips him, and well, it's just gonna. He's just going to have to 5 points in it out of the barriers then, and he's down into 9th place then. I mean, there's only 11 cars out there. I mean, if he doesn't score points today, then that's just going to be embarrassing. But yeah, a bit later on in the lap then, and he's really just got to try and keep his focus together then, as he makes another mistake then, going up towards turn 5 or 6, and gets a penalty, and then for some reason his car gets stuck in 2nd gear again, sort of a problem like he had in Catalonia. So just everything that could go wrong for Vettel today has done, but after a few laps he does get it going again, and he does pit a few laps later than a few others, so he does get himself up into 6th place. But look at that then, Michael Schumacher is already pit stop ahead of him, and Vettel in fact is going to try and go on the attack of him then. He's just worrying about his own race now, even though he may have wanted the Ferrari to win the championship today then. But up the hill they go turn towards the final, well, it's not really the final corner because it's just a flat out run, but yeah, he comes into the pits now and for his stop, and he'll be hoping that he'll have gained a bit more time and closed up to Fisichella and Webber, who actually I think stayed out later than him, so that didn't work out too well. But I think it was Montoya, Massa and Barrichello who came in before him then in this race, and it's a very slow pit lane here then, only 36 miles an hour. As Vettel comes in for his stop then, as Raikkonen's already gone there in front of him. So yeah, not looking like the best day for him at all then today. But as Red Bull said him then for the final time this season, a fantastic stop though, 7.3 seconds, and away he goes then, and down the hill now then towards the first couple of corners then. Massa and Barrichello have already gone, so yeah, it's just going to be a case of trying to recover what he can then today and try and not make any more mistakes, and as he's comfortably ahead of Liuzzi and Villeneuve, who are nowhere in this race. They're just trundling along at the back somewhere. And let's get to the next lap then, and Webber and Fisichella both in first stops now then. It says he's ahead, but we see their timers come up there at the top, so they've just left the pits, and we'll see exactly where they are. I think there's one of them there we've just seen, as in fact here's Fisichella who's behind, so the computer was actually a little bit wrong there, and they were actually out ahead, so that's a bit frustrating for Vettel, and he's going to have to catch them back up, but be confident of catching up to the Williams at least, and it looks like that's been holding up Fisichella. So yeah, Fisichella not having the best weekend at all then. As we skip to lap 14 I think it is, and yeah, it's looking like a three-way battle now then for 7th place, and we'll see if he can catch up to the Brazilians up ahead as well then. But Vettel's got a very good run then towards turn 1, and so does Fisichella in fact, and over the line they go then. They're going 3 wide. I'm not sure Vettel taking really a legit line there, but he goes out wide once again, and who's got there first? It's Fisichella then, up into 7th place, and Webber has gone from 7th to 9th in the space of a few hundred metres then, so yeah, not a good day for him. And we'll see a replay of then. Fisichella getting a very good slipstream, with Vettel taking a double slipstream, and I'm not sure if that was really inside the track limits there, but nonetheless he gets past, well, Webber at least, as he goes wide, and Fisichella actually does take the place then up into 7th place. You see on board from Webber now then, and all calm, and then suddenly just two cars just appear on both sides, and through they go then. Webber actually had the inside line there, funnily enough, but yeah, Fisichella and Vettel just having the better line, and they're both through then into 7th and 8th respectively, and Webber down and out of the points for now then, as Vettel now goes on the attack, and Fisichella for 7th, and he want to get on with this one nice and quickly so he can maybe go after the two Brazilians there, and Massa and Barrichello, and maybe even one of the McLarens. But we skip to the end of the lap then, and Fisichella right on the tail of Vettel, then down the pit straight, and into turn 1 he's back through then, and in turn 2, and this is just getting ridiculous now, as once again he drops it there, and I don't know what it was, because I mean the set did look pretty quick, we saw in qualifying he was very fast, but it just seems in the first couple of corners the car was just too unstable, and yeah, looking back, maybe not the best decisions made then, as Webber went on the attack in there, but not quite into turn 4, and Vettel at least maintains his 8th place and 1 point for now then. So yeah, this final race hasn't really gone to plan so far then, as we skip now to the final lap, and he spent most of the rest of the race trying to catch up to Fisichella's Renault, and he does manage to do so, because he, well, as you can see, right up behind him now then, and maybe he'll have a run towards turn 4, though it seems he's a little bit far back. But yeah, I think Vettel was certainly hoping for much more than in this final race of the season, maybe hoping he could take the fight to Kimi Raikkonen for 3rd place in the championship, and maybe get involved in that little scrap there between Alonso and Schumacher. But I think there's been a few what ifs this season. I think a few things could have gone a little bit better really for him, and maybe he'd have been right up there challenging for the championship, but it's all stuff that he'll be learning from and certainly taking forward with him. And yeah, as he's now going to go on the attack of Fisichella then for one last hurrah this season, and at the inside Fisichella he goes then up into 7th place, and there we go then, as bit of a bittersweet moment for Renault then, as Alonso crosses the line then of what will be a championship winning result, as Vettel slides about young cow. He seems to have been sideways pretty much for most of this race it seems, but as he's coming down now towards the pit straight, and he's going to come across the line then, and his final race of the season ends with a 7th place finish then in Brazil. And there's the final results of the race then. Fernando Alonso takes the win then, a crucial win, and nearly 4 seconds ahead of Michael Schumacher then, who kept him for the whole race, but just didn't have enough in the end. There's the two McLarens, and Montoya and Raikkonen securing that 3rd place in the championship with that result. There's the two Brazilians, and Massa and Barrichello, though they've been hoping for a little bit better this weekend, as with Vettel having qualified on the front row of the grid. Then it was Fisichella and Webber missing out on a point there in 9th. Then it was Liuzzi ahead of Villeneuve then. They were the last two finishers, and look at that then. A whole page of retirements then, and 10 of those were on the first lap then, with a Button's engine failure, and that wiped out both Midlands and both Toyotas, Klein, Rosberg, Heidfeld. But Sato did get going for a couple more laps, and he did get up there in what is technically 12th place, so that well, that could make all the difference then, as we are now going to look at the standings in a second. And yeah, of course there's one crucial thing here then, of course we're going to see, as of course that Alonso took the 10 points in today, and Schumacher needed to win and Alonso to be 3rd or lower, and that didn't happen. Alonso's taken his 2nd championship then, and Schumacher couldn't make it 9 then this time, but yeah, Alonso gets his 2nd, and Raikkonen gets 3rd, then Montoya actually passes Webber for 8th then in the final race. And yeah, just those 13 drivers then scoring points this season. But look at that then, Takuma Sato overtakes both Montero, well, all of Montero, Albers and Speed then, and straight up to 18th place then. So yeah, that's actually gone well then. You wouldn't think a DNF would have got him up there, but Ferrari take the most points today then, but it wasn't enough in the end. Renault of course already champions then this season. Red Bull 5th in the end then, with Sauber down there in 8th place having scored no points. And look at that then, Super Curry in the final race of the season have overtaken Midland with a DNF. Yep, really. And yeah, how about that then, Super Curry finished 10th, and yeah, they'll be delighted with that one then, beating Midland. As we now go back to the motorhome now then, and well, you see the contract is officially over, or whatever it is, just like sort of the series is over now then, but not really, as it's just sort of this chapter that's over. But yeah, we're now going to look back at all that we've achieved so far then, or that, or whatever, first person or third person, however you want to look at it. And we haven't actually ever looked at this before then. So yeah, total races then 36. We actually finished 34 of those. It's only that one retirement in San Marino in the first season, and then Australia this season when Webber brake tested us, with the only 2 retirements we ever had then in this series. And we had 1 pole position then, that was at Monaco this season, and 3 wins then, also at Monaco, then at France, and also China. So yeah, 102 points in total then, that's not bad. And yeah, for 2 seasons then, one with sort of a midfield team, a rather slow midfield team, and then a little more competitive midfield team. I don't think we've done too badly then with our run then, and thank you then to everyone who's supported the series then so far, sort of this chapter of the series then. And yeah, there's a few people I can name now, certainly F1 Game PlayStation who's helped put this in full screen, and yeah, a few other people then who just like sort of helped and support the series then. I'm sure you know who you are then, the ones who always like and always supporting the series then. And yeah, it's meant a lot then, because as I've said before, this has been a really successful series of mine, probably the most successful I've actually done so far. I'm hoping that it's only going to get better on F1 2015, and also when we come back in a few months for F106, because at the end of this it did actually allow me to re-sign with Red Bull. So yeah, we will be able to continue with that actually. So it does say that we're unemployed, but that we can carry it on afterwards. So yeah, that's pretty much it then for sort of this chapter of the series, and you'll be seeing this back soon on F1 2015. So if you did enjoy this, then make sure you leave a like. Thank you once again for those who have supported the series, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.